Welcome to Masterpiece Tarot. I'm Tala, also known as the Nerdy Healer, and I'm going to go ahead and get a reading on Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine. Thank you, Spirit. Let's go ahead and jump in. What messages do you have for us today, Spirit? What would you like the collective to know? What's going on in the energies? What is going on in the energies? Masculine on the left, feminine on the right, and we will draw a bridging card cards at the end. What's going on in the energies, Spirit? So past, present, and future. On the masculine side, we have Page of Swords, a Knight of Swords, and the Chariot. We have Swords energy. The Page is like the novice. The Knight is taking action in the world with ideas, thoughts, their intellect. That's in the current. And in the future, the Chariot. So getting ready to move ahead, preparing, movement. Chariot is Cancer. It's a water sign. And on the feminine side, we have an Eight of Swords, feeling stuck, trapped, up in their head in the recent past. A Wheel of Fortune, the sense that the karmic wheel is turning in the current. And the Emperor. And this is on the feminine side. Okay. So on the masculine side, there's a real sense of development. This could be developing in career. This could be moving ahead within a social structure. Swords are good with their words. So this could be somebody who's a politician, somebody who is an influencer, and they're sort of, prepping themselves, getting ready to take some action in the future on the masculine side. And there is a sense of movement here on the masculine side. And on the feminine side, we've got an Eight of Swords. This is somebody who's blindfolded and they're, tied up. They're feeling entrapped, ensnared. Yeah. In the current energy, a Wheel of Fortune. This is always turning, and it brings change. I like to think we can either be at the top of the wheel or at the bottom, or moving in a certain direction, through our own choices and actions. And so this is a feminine who is experiencing karma. All right. And in the future, we see the Emperor here. This could be an aspect of herself where she's in her masculine energy, taking control, in a position of authority. Or this could be somebody in her energy. And, I say him, her, but gender is really irrelevant. They're just energies. So flip the roles if you need to. But this Emperor here could, represent an aspect of herself, or it could be somebody outside of herself. So we'll just have to see. Okay, Spirit, let's go ahead and clarify. Why is the Page of Swords here in the recent past for the masculine? Now, I don't know if this is a counterpart reading or not. We'll just have to see what comes out in the energy. All right, there's a Queen of Pentacles. a Knight of Wands. A lot of court cards here. Let's see what else wants to come out. And the Nine of Cups. All right, I noticed all of those individuals on those 3 clarifier cards are facing the Page of Swords. This could be a family. The Nine of Cups could represent a friend. Queen of Pentacles could be like a mother energy. She could be somebody who's abundant. She is abundant for the benefit of others, being a feminine energy. This could be mom, looking on. We also have a Knight of Wands. This is somebody who's a little bit older, right, than the page, a little more further along on the path. Somebody who is taking passionate action, moving very quickly towards a goal. And then we have a Nine of Cups here. This is somebody who is single, but they're abundant. This looks to be somebody who's developing themselves. This Page of Swords just looks like somebody who, to me, this masculine in the past has been developing themselves. What else you got, Spirit? Let's look at the Knight of Swords in the current energy. What's this Knight of Swords about here, Spirit? A Seven of Swords, so that's our sneaky card. Somebody's manipulating, cheating, maybe lying. A Page of Wands. And Strength. I'm getting here with the Knight of Swords that this person, as they have moved into the current energy, they've, advanced a bit. They're now a knight. They're now taking action. Okay, they're not real experienced yet. They haven't mastered the suit. And the Seven of Wands indicates that perhaps they've made a judgment call that, maybe they thought that they could get ahead somehow by doing something sneaky. But they're needing to be strong. There's a need to be strong in this situation. And I think what I'm seeing, this need to be strong may relate to this Page of Wands. This could be somebody who was hurt by the action of this Knight of Swords was taking. This could also represent an aspect of himself that is not as developed. The Page of Wands makes mistakes, is still making mistakes. They haven't mastered the fire energy. They're still making mistakes. I am kind of really getting the sense, though, that this wand energy is somebody different. This is a separate energy. This is a fire energy. Swords is air, wands is fire. Because we have a Knight of Wands here, too. So it seems to me in this reading so far, we have 2 young masculines, one a little more mature than the other. The Swords masculine, or the air sign masculine energy, is the one that has perhaps done something underhanded or sneaky. And this Knight of Wands, Page of Wands person who's also young is standing by, watching, recognizing, seeing what's happening. Perhaps this person's even been hurt. I'm not really seeing that though. I'm just seeing that they're maybe a bystander or a friend, a close friend even. And with the Chariot here, there's a sense of battle, getting ready for battle. We see this man in the Chariot dressed in armor. He's covered in armor to protect himself from whatever battle he may be entering into. And this is in the future. Some cards depict this as a moving chariot. Other cards depict it as one that is not moving. In this depiction, the chariot is not moving, but it's preparing to move. It's preparing to move into battle. This is in the future. What's this battle about, Spirit? The Seven of Cups. Options. This is somebody needing to work out conflicts, work out inner conflicts, look at choices, choose something while releasing another, leaving another behind. We have the Star, so that healing can take place. What else? And the Magician. Okay. I'm seeing here in the future, this masculine is going to be healing. The masculine is going to be manifesting what it is that they want to move towards. They are going to be discerning about what direction to take. They understand that, the Magician is also a young energy. But they understand possibility. They also understand healing. Okay. And there's a need to be guided. By the divine. There's a real sense that this masculine here on this side is a younger person who is really developing. They're maturing. And I think one thing that this masculine might be leaving behind is our behaviors or actions that are misguided. He's moving strongly in a direction towards a goal, towards an objective. And right next to that is the Seven of Swords. So there's a sense that this is a masculine who thinks in the current that this, is perhaps a sign of strength. Perhaps this is a sign of strength. Because if you're sneaky, you can get stuff. You can get away with stuff. When in reality, there's a need to understand what actions lead to what. So this need to move away indicates that there's some kind of an understanding now in the future. And that could come about, due to the star energy. There could be another individual, or it could just be, their inner star quality. We see a star here. On his crown, we see stars in her hair. So these two are connected. And this masculine seems like he's being guided by his own. It could even be a north star, sort of like his north node, his true north, his purpose. And it's to do with this healing energy. And what's needing to be healed, there's a sense perhaps that, young people, sometimes we've got to learn by the school of hard knocks. Sometimes we have to pick a choice that's not in our best interest so that we learn not to pick that choice in the future. And so there is a sense of movement and forward progress, but with the Seven of Cups next to the Magician, it seems like this masculine, it seems like he could manifest something really good in healing, which is in alignment, or, has he matured enough? Is he going to choose the right cup? I don't think it's clear here in the energies. I think we just see somebody young working through it all. Let's talk about feminine. Why is feminine feeling trapped? What's up with feminine here? Lovers. Okay. A divine partnership. Moving away. And the King of Cups. Okay. So there could be a sense here that the feminine energy is feeling trapped and stuck because, there's a need to leave behind a partnership. A partnership could be breaking up. We see the water here, and we see it here with the King of Cups. And so this individual and child in the Six of Swords could be heading towards this King of Cups, which appears to be away from the feminine. These two individuals could be the lovers. Okay, they're both on the water, all right, but they're not all in the boat together. They actually appear to be, he's on his throne, there's water all around. They're in a boat on the water. So there's a sense of separation. So there could be something like that in the feminine energy here. Remember, this could be an aspect of the masculine, just as the masculine can be an aspect of a feminine energy. Clarify the Wheel of Fortune, Spirit. What's this Wheel of Fortune about? An Ace of Wands. In the current, we have a passionate new beginning. We have death, an ending, and a new beginning. And the Empress. We have the Wheel of Fortune being clarified by an Ace of Wands, the Death card, and an Empress. I am trying to think about what that's about there. Well, going with what we're reading here in the past with this separation, this moving away. This could be a separation, okay? As in perhaps there would be a reunion. Or they could go their separate ways. But the Wheel of Fortune indicates a turning point. So if there has been a separation, which has left feminine feeling in the Eight of Swords, okay, trapped, stuck, alone, scared even, there's a turning point. And we're seeing there could be an end to separation with the Death card, and a passionate new beginning, right? With the Empress, for the Empress. Yeah, I'm getting the feeling the separation ends here. Clarify the Emperor. Why is the Emperor here in the future for feminine, Spirit? Tell us about the Emperor here, Spirit. You have a Page of Swords, which we started with. Over there on the masculine side, the Sun. And the King of Swords. Well, I get the feeling that this feminine here has somehow been reunited with a family. It feels like kind of a big family because we have so many court cards, but there's a sense of happiness. There's even an emperor, okay? This could be her. She could be a matriarch or a patriarch, okay, because there is no gender, of this family. There could have been a sense that they had been sort of either dethroned or just in a, and that they needed to make it through this rite of passage. But it seems more likely that this is just maybe a feminine who was down on her luck. She could have met somebody when she was going through a difficult time of needing to move away. She could have met somebody after a breakup. And here in the current, there is a turning point. Something shifts. Maybe it is to do with this lover's situation. Maybe there's an ending to that suffering that she was experiencing, right? And not only that, perhaps there's a strong emperor in her future, somebody who's going to maybe partner with her, or perhaps be a father figure to her, or be a strong community leader who advocates for her. For her, I think this is, a cause for optimism. She sees that there are a lot of other young people in his charge. We have the Page of Swords. We have a lot of pages and stuff coming out in this reading. We also have a King of Swords here. We have a page and a King of Swords. I feel that something is being illuminated here in the future for this feminine with the Sun card. And I'm looking at the Page of Swords and the King of Swords here, like their family. This could represent something in feminine's life even. They're looking away from each other. We have a younger energy and an older energy. And I wonder, you know how fathers and sons sometimes can have spats or arguments or rifts, things that come between them. I'm also wondering if this conflict, which could have been a source of this suffering, I'm wondering if this energy could be shifting, like if this emperor figure were in the picture, could he mediate? Could he bring an end to this somehow? This fighting, this conflict, whatever it is that what's going to go down? Because we've got the Sun card. There's some kind of good outcome here on feminine side. On masculine side, we said that we have somebody who's young, who is developing themselves, who's advancing in their understanding, their knowledge, their application of their skills. Okay, their intellect, their sense of right and wrong, or their ability to discern things. So we have somebody who's developing and somebody who seems to be coming out of a rough period and possibly moving into some type of a new beginning, some type of a passionate new beginning into a place where there's more structure and more support and reason to be more optimistic. So we have two people who are in a phase of life where perhaps both of them are moving towards a long-term committed relationship, a career path. Now I don't know, I'm not really seeing much of a connection here between the two, if I'm honest. It doesn't seem like, well, I'm not sure. Let's have a look here. Let's look at the bridging energy. Let's see if we can get anything here. We have a King of Cups, so a water sign masculine energy. This is someone who has mastered their emotions. This is somebody who can be very loving, nurturing, stable. This is somebody who may be an empath. They might be very, they might really live and move from their heart. They may be looked at as somebody who is courageous, in the sense that they are willing to stay in their heart center, even if that means, that they choose something that others might not. And I'm not sure how this connects. I see a lot more water just visually on the feminine side. Now, one thing though, we have the King of Cups is here too. Okay. There's a glare. Well, two Kings of Cups. That seems sort of significant. Bookending the feminine cards. This could be a father figure. Might be more connected on the feminine side of things. Could also be the father to this Nine of Cups. Who doesn't seem to be the main person in the masculine. We have a Seven of Cups. There it is again. That choice. Needing to make a choice. Options. It can also be illusions. Could be about illusions. We see this person trying to decide which bowl to choose. He's pondering his options. Not clear in the energy here if he's going to make a wise choice or not in the current. The Wheel of Fortune can turn for good or bad on the feminine side, and then we have Death. But after that, there's an Ace of Wands at new beginning. Passionate new beginning that leads to pregnancy. Right? How are we going to discern? You know, we don't know if this is a karmic situation or not. Could be with the Seven of Swords on that line. But we do have the Empress. We have Strength. Ace of Wands in the current. Feels like youth. This whole reading feels like youthfulness to me. Things aren't clear. It's a little of this and a little of that. Six of Swords. Here it is, moving away from choppy waters, moving out of conflict, moving into something more chill. Something more chill. And we definitely see that on the masculine side with the Chariot, the Star, the Magician. Okay, so manifesting a new setup, a new situation, a new position, maybe a new vocation, a new relationship, just new. And as it pertains to the Emperor here, we were talking about that, something like that, where the Emperor is assisting feminine here in some way to put some conflict to rest, getting out of a conflict, getting out of difficulties, struggles, so that she can be happy. And I feel like the Emperor is there to help. And with the Six of Wands, he could actually be helping her to move, quite literally, change jobs, move to a new location, move to a new town or city. And this is what he believes will make her happy. Yeah, I get the feeling there was something karmic back here that happened. It was not, yeah, I'm not sure though, but that is how it feels to me. All right, so we've got a masculine and a feminine who do not seem to be connected in an interpersonal way. These are probably just aspects of self to look at. I think I'll leave it here. Thanks so much. Bye for now.